Hello everyone, welcome to this short flight, training flight with the KingAir 350 in Xplane 11. Let's get on board and let's begin with our operations. So, first thing first, the flight control locks is removed, flight controls are free. Now we can put some battery on, external power on. Verify all switches are off. Nav light can come on. We're gonna check engine instruments or zero, master caution and warning. Annunciator panel with light test. Test all the lights. And that's done. So the parking brake is released. We can set the parking brake and remove chocks and close doors. Okay, so with that done, we're gonna check the fuel and the fuel panel. Fuel is sufficient, fuel panel is set. You can test auxiliary is 0. So we have inverter, avionic power, PFD, ND, and CDU. Trim to 0. And pitch is not yet functional. We'll check that later. Actually, we can manually bring it to neutral. Let's go there. That should be okay. Flaps are up. We are gonna test the flaps. Flaps to full. Approach and up. Good stuff. Now we're gonna calculate the performance for takeoff. This is the weather parameter. These are the weather parameters taken from the flight simulator. Runway length. I know this is 7,000 feet. Runway heading, I think is 150. Gradient 10, approach, set markers. Okay. The speed bugs are set for this takeoff. Okay, so we are gonna start engine 2. So beacon on, engine anti-ice on, auto ignition for the moment off, and we're gonna start the right engine at 12%. Condition lever to idle. Oil pressure is okay. Check the ITT not to go over the red line. And that is a stable engine. Now we put the right generator with reset online. Right condition lever, move forward. One thing I forgot is to go out of feather. As a matter of fact, should bring them both forward. That's good. Start switch for the red engine off, left switch on, 12%, idle, oil pressure ITT. Start disengage. Okay, so we bring the condition lever both to idle. That's good. Let's close the windows. 1, 2. So doors are closed. Now left generator on, reset, external power disengage, and we can tell the ground personnel to remove ground power. So engine out, ignition, auto feather, bleed, left and right on, air conditioning to auto, temperature mid, cabin air. Right, so we set flap takeoff. Gonna reset the trim, power trim, rudder boost. We want to remove the flight director. Don't want that today. We check the trim, operation, aileron, rudder, and pitch. Done. Engine parameters, all green light. Annunciator, no light. And here we have oxy not armed. So oxygen is now armed. We have the pitot heat and 4 green light and left prop pitch. And right prop pitch. Okay, sounds good. So we're ready to taxi. Before that, so we need to take, I would say 08. So we need to make a right turn. That's it. And get out from here. Alright, so left is clear, right is clear. Let's go into beta. Remove the parking brake. Alright, so before takeoff, flaps in position, trim 00 and up, prop full forward, pitot on, landing light on, strobe on, transponder, roger, map, IFR, tune nav 1, nav 2. So we're going to take off, fly north, east, and then back for an ILS. So we have channel 2 for the VOR DMA, and the pointer VOR 1, the minima. Okay, that's 300, and we do have a radio altimeter. Set at 300, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. And here we have nav 2. Alright. So performance is set, altimeter is set, navigation is set, ignition, it's arm, auto feather. Good, we're good to go. So parking brake released, left is clear, right is clear, strobe light on, pitot, heat is on. Stand them up. Engine parameters are all good. Brake off. Let's go for 90 to 95% torque.
Auto feather lights on.
Checked.
Airspeed alive. 60 knots.
Checked. Be bumpy.
V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rear up. Attitudes check. Gear indicates up.
125 knots. Flaps up.
Flaps indicates up.
Let's accelerate to 160. Bring the power back to 80. Torque 80 set. Propeller down to 1600. Climb power is set. Let's accelerate a bit more. So after takeoff checklist. Bubs up, landing gear up, yaw damper on, coming up, and yaw damper. Prop sync on. Engine parameters, perfect. Speed, we need to accelerate just a little bit towards 160. Coming up to 10,000 feet. Pressurization is set. Cabin is descending. And we got it working just fine. So we have to go bearing pointer 2. There you go. You are 2. We are 7 miles. That's parallel. I would climb to 12,000. Yeah, 12,000. To level off. Speed is good. Heading is good. Okay, we start reducing our rate of climb. We will accelerate to 180 knots. Time to level off. Thousand. 180 knots. We are 13 miles. Gonna go out like 16, 17 miles before turning in. So, engine out ignition stays on, auto fader stays on. Temperature outside is 6.3 degrees. It's a bit hazy. So stall warning and fuel vent just in case. Even though it's above 0. So good altitude, good heading, 16 nautical miles, so time to turn in. As soon as we turn, we are on the radial. I will descend to 8,500 feet. On the turn, I keep my bank angle to just a bit less than 30 degrees. Vertical speed 0. Speed 180, a little bit more power to keep the speed. Check the radial. Okay, I can now start descending to 8,500 with 1,000 feet a minute. And start reducing my speed as well. That's localive. On 60, we're within range for flaps extraction. So next altitude is 8,500. On the lock, that's good. 150. So flap 1, we're too far out. I'm gonna leave it, keep 150. Right, we're on the lock. Speed is good. Can now go get the glide slope. We're close enough. Okay, we're on the lock, on the glide. So let's resume our 7 to 800 feet a minute descent. 150 knots. We're 10.5 miles on final. India Romeo, India Lima is identified. On the lock, on the glide. We're 10 miles, 3,000 feet from the ground. That makes sense. We can begin with gear down. Gear in transit. Flaps 1, approach. Let's restabilize. Okay, propeller full forward. Need to regain the glide slope. Lock is perfect, glide slope is coming back. Speed is good. So flaps approach. Gear down 3 green. Landing lights on.
$1,000 feet to minimums.
1,000 feet to minimum. We are on the glide. Let's recover a more normal rate of descent.
$500 feet to minimums.
Checked. We have good lock, good glide, good speed.
200 feet to minimums.
Start reducing speed.
200 feet to minimums.
Watch the glide, watch the lock.
Minimums.
Time to look up. That's the runway.
Minimums.
Land, full flop. Going towards the red line.
100 feet. 50 feet.
Okay. Beta mode.
Knots.
So after landing, flaps up. Strobe light off. Landing light off. The tow heat off. Fuel vent off. Out ignition off. Trim reset. Altitude reset. Alert. Transponder standby. All right, so we parked. Okay, so air conditioning off, bleeds off, taxi light off, and we have CDU. Well, that we can do that later. We can ask for GPU to be connected and generators offline. To external power on. Feather. Rudder trim 0, aileron trim 0, and we can put the beacon off, auto feather off, windows open, fuel remaining recorded, and we can leave the avionics on for the next flight, or else what we can do, off, PFD ND off, oxygen off. Then we have inverter left, right off, battery off, external power off. And that concludes this little training flight with the KingAir 350 Xplane 11. I hope you enjoyed it. You put a like if you did, and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of content. Apart from that, I'll see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.